take is to make our fins. So we need our fins to match the design that we have on Shaper 3D, and we're going to test those. And then if it's not a good design, then we can make some adjustments on OpenRocket, and then we can go back and make those adjustments on Shaper 3D and reprint your fins. So I'm going to select my body tube because that's what the fins should be connected to. There's a few different ways that we can do this. We can do a trapezoidal fins if we know that it's a trapezoid, elliptical, or freeform, which allows us to draw it. So if it's a basic trapezoid, we can select this. And then it gives us a few different options here, and some of it you just have to mess around with and kind of see how it's going to be. The component material, I do want that to be PLA. Right, and then my recommendation is to make your fins 1 millimeter thick. So I'd select millimeter, and then I make it 1. So we can also do the PETG or PETG. That's a little bit stronger than PLA supposedly, and so you can print it out of that. We also have some really cool filaments if you wanted to use the PETG, but for right now I'm just going to do the PLA. By the way, PETG and PLA I think have the same mass, and so I don't know that it really matters, but let's do PLA, let's do 1 millimeter. And now I can see a few different things here. Number of fins, I can change that to, let's say, 4. And if I move this box up, I can see my center of gravity and my center of pressure. My center of gravity is slightly in front of my center of pressure. And so that's okay. If we can make it a little bit farther forward and the center of pressure a little bit farther back, that would be ideal. Worst case scenario here, we can add some weight to the front with our nose cone, and then that can move the center of gravity farther forward, and that would not impact the center of pressure. So that's one way that we can adjust it. But the lighter rocket, the better. It should go higher and then also be safer also. So anyway, I'm going to change the number of fins to 4, see what happens. So when I do that, I can see that my center of pressure moved backwards a little bit. The center of gravity, I think it moved a little bit also, but it appears that the center of pressure kind of scooted back farther. So the root core, let's see, if I move that, what's going to happen? Okay, so it's going to kind of lengthen or shorten the part that's attaching to the rocket itself. From there, I can mess around with the tip cord, and that's going to be kind of that top length there, how long that is. The height is how far away from the body that extends. And then let's see, the sweep length is going to be kind of moving that top length back farther. And again, be watching the impact that this has on the center of pressure and the center of gravity. And the sweep angle is, I'm not sure exactly what the sweep angle does. All right, but you can mess around with that. The fin cross section, if it's just flat, that would be square. You can round it, or you can make an airfoil where it's a little bit more curved on one side and then the other side is more skinny. And so you can kind of change that also. So that would be for a trapezoid. And again, you need to be checking your drawings. And I was looking at my drawings and I did not get good measurements here. For example, I know how tall it is from here down to kind of where my body tube stops. And then it sticks out 5 millimeters beyond my body tube, right? But in terms of the actual fins themselves, I didn't really get many measurements. I got from the tip to, let's see, I'm sorry, from this point down to the bottom of the tip. So measuring from here down, that's going to be 10 millimeters. And then from here to here, that is about, let's see, it's about 55. So from top, it's 55. And then to this line, and then from that line to the second line, that's 5. So that's a total of 60 plus 10 is 70. So my fins from the top to the bottom, that's going to be 70. And then from the tip down to the bottom, like I guess the root cord, if you will, that's going to be 55 plus 5 more would be 60. So that's great, but I'm missing a few things. For example, how far out each of these points are. So this right here, I don't know if you can see this, what I'm clicking on, but that right there, I don't know how long that is. I don't know how far away from the body that is. From the body out to this curved part, I'm not sure how long that is. And so I'm definitely missing some measurements, and that's not the best thing. I would really want to go back and create new architectural drawings that have the measurements that I really need here. But going back to the fins, I can delete the trapezoid fin set that I just did. I could click on the body tube, and then I could go to freeform. And this is going to be similar. We're going to set it to PLA. And if I were making it, I would make it 1 millimeter, at least to start. And then if it's not rigid enough, I could extend it out to be 2 millimeters or something similar. And then maybe I would change that to be rounded. All right. So let's see, PLA rounded 1 millimeter thick, and then I'm not sure what the root fillets are, but we can change that to PLA just to be on the safe side. Okay. All right, and then for the number of fins, I can change that to be, let's say that I want to have 4. Okay. And then the shape, this is where I get to kind of draw my fins. And so you have these points. This is similar to kind of a spline on Shaper 3D. But over here you can see the X and the Y. So X being left and right, Y being up and down. So if I select this point here, and I clicked and it just added a point. So if I want to get rid of that, I can do Control and then click and it deletes that point. And so anyway, this point right here, that's 0, 0, and then we count from there. So between here and here, this one right here, the X is 1.96. So that's almost 2 inches apart. If I clicked on this and then I typed in 2, it's going to move that line, and it scooted it back just a little bit. So now that's an even 2 inches from that point to this point right here. And then I'd want to know this point right here, how far down is it from where I'm starting to count my origin point. And then that would be, let's see, this x-axis, that's 0.65 inches. And so anyway, you can type in that measurement or you can kind of move it, but over here you get to see how far away from this 0 point it is, going first, left, right, and then up, down. All right, I can add new points if I click. I can add points and then I can move those around. Or if I control click, I can get rid of them. All right, but I'm going to try to make this match this design right here. And I really want to be accurate with this, but again, I don't have the perfect dimensions, so I'm going to do a little bit of estimation here. And then I'm just going to kind of try to round this a little bit and make it match. All right, so let's just go ahead and do, having a hard time with this. All right, I want that to go up a little bit, so maybe I'm going to do 1.3 here. I moved it up. And then let's kind of get that guy like that. All right, so I think that that's pretty close to what it is, assuming that my measurements are right. All right, and I can see here where my center pressure is and my center of gravity. That seems like it's okay. I would test this in a wind tunnel and see if it's going to fly straight. And then probably at this point, I like my fin design. The center pressure is behind the center of gravity. If it doesn't really pass the the wind tunnel test very well, I might print a new nose cone and thicken up those walls just a little bit to add a little bit more weight to the front and move the center of gravity out. But that's going to be pretty good. That's going to be pretty good. So I'm going to say that at this point, my model rocket is done. I'm going to take a screenshot that shows all my different things here, and make sure that you follow the instructions on Google Classroom in terms of taking screenshots of each of your components. For example, I ask you to make a freeform or a fin set. So you're going to select the freeform fin set. You say edit, and then you go back here to general. Take a screenshot of this, and so that way we can see exactly what your measurements are and make sure that you're doing everything okay.